G'day, hi and welcome. Is this a beaver lair or the lair of a mad trapper? Who knows? But anyway, let me show you what I got. What is this monstrosity right here? I don't know, guys. I don't know. And I'm gonna leave that for tonight. I'm gonna make sure I get my window all set up. I got 1, 2, 3. I might be able to get 3 out of this. Well, 2 anyway, but maybe 3 out of this one. So that'll be good. That was that pole was a real pain in the butt. This one right here, real pain in the butt to bring home. What is that monstrosity? These 2 are almost enough. I need 1 more for maybe 2 more, because I'm going to try something else. I just wanted to show you something, guys. A little safety tip, because when I showed you how to set a 330 conibear, or any conibear in general, there's one whole step, again, getting back into it. Sometimes you forget things. I want to show you something. Got these. Buy these, use these. I don't care if you buy the cheap ones or the good ones. Like these ones were a little more expensive. I can't remember what they were, but you've got those there and those there. This whole end is a tool. These little kind of spikes here are meant for grabbing the safeties, so you can pull them down when you're ready. And then obviously you got 2 grooves there to set the springs. But what about the jaws? And the springs are like half the danger, right? These springs on a modern 330 trap, this is, I believe, a B-Lyle. Okay, so you see I got my pole sets getting ready. Got the chain tied up out of the way so it's not going to interfere with the trigger when I'm setting it. But now when I go to set it, I've got one thing I got to do. And, well, more than one thing I got to do. I got to make sure that I don't get caught. Now, the good news is that because it's on the pole, it's not going to spring when you set it off. The idea with these things is when you hit the trigger, it springs in the direction of the trigger, right? You never want to get your hands near these if you can help it. So right now, the only thing I can do to set this is I have to press down on it like that. I really don't like that setup because right now my safeties could be compromised being in an oddball situation like that, where when you set it when the springs are out straight, you can do that. But sometimes when it's like that, it adds an extra tension that you can't deal with. So we're going to come back to our grooves. This way you never have to put your hands near the jaws at all. Pull it in like so, and make sure you have room for your trigger and your dog. Okay, ease the tension off, and there you go. Now you've got even though the safeties are on there, sometimes these safeties break or whatever, don't get near it. That's ready to go. And you can play around with your springs wherever you want them. But now if I want to unset it and save the triggers, here's what I'm going to do. Just take this, right, grab each jaw, okay, squeeze, pull that out of the way. There, see, that safety failed. And I've got my tongs. There you go. So, there you go. See what I mean? Like, you can't trust the safeties. Proof. Never trust the safeties. Never trust the safeties. And again, these springs probably, again, 140, 200 pounds, whatever they are. If you think you're just going to be able to manhandle your way out of them, not going to happen like that. So, this reset, semi-reset. So when I take them out, it's a lot easier on me. But, I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, this one. Normally don't do it from this angle here, so a bit of a pain, but a lot harder on these. I'm gonna have to go with that. Can't get into my trap. Try like that. And you see the value of these things already. That could have been a really bad mishap out in the bush. I can't get that. Just can't get the angle here. Put it right there. Like that. Anyway, pull this out of there. It's a pain in the ass getting that back in, so but anyway, that's what I got going on. It's too slippy. Oh, why is it so freaking slippy? That. Next back on. There you go. So you can see that you can't rely on the safeties ever. The idea is to keep your hands away from, right now the jaw's closed, so my fingers are not near where the spring, trapped in spring. But you can see that these things aren't trustworthy at all. And there you go, I'll just put this back in as well. But anyway, that's the second time I've shown you. I mean, these traps are not super old. I mean, fairly new. That's the second time I've shown you how why not to trust the safeties. You know, like I'm while I'm explaining it to you, but it just shows you that the possibility of a failure rate is actually that's twice this year that safeties have failed me. Once there, and then once on a smaller trap like that. But anyway, that's what you got. Now, mind you, because these things are more awkward to deal with now. I mean, when they're on the ground like that, no problem. But when you're going to be dealing with the poles, you really want to make sure that you utilize this to set everything so that if it springs on you, you're okay. For example, this trap, when I test that trap, because that trap has seem to have a faulty trigger on it or whatever, or the catch, I'm not sure which is what part's not working properly. But anyway, I wanted to show you that so that you guys could see how it's going to do, and that's all I'm doing for tonight anyway. Because when you preset everything, not so bad, but like you see while you set it, it crushes it down. It takes even a little more. What I think happens is when the spring springs, it basically, I'll get in better lighting so you can see me. When the spring springs, the acceleration of the springing moves the safety out of the way. I think that's what happens. But that said, if there's like 200 pounds or 100 pounds or 80 pounds or 120 pounds, whatever those spring tensions are at, that, you know, just that springing could bust one of those anyway. So don't rely on them. Use them, but don't rely on them. But that's why all those tough guys out there trying to set everything by hand and all that, I mean, number one, you're going to end up with pulling muscles in your hand and stuff like that. You got a tool like that, buy the tool. It's even the cheap one's better than nothing. I'd recommend the better one with the rubber handles like that because they work better. But when your trap sets are getting a little bit complicated and awkward like that, it just, that way you're not, because I see guys, they're pushing their knees on it, they're setting the things on their laps, and I mean, if that catches you, can you imagine that thing on your lap when it sprung like that? That would definitely, at best, it would catch your leg, at best. If it catches something else, that's it. And again, you can't, you see how hard that would be to get it off you if it was entangled in that, basically wire. That's why you always wire in your traps, your conibears last, so that if you did catch it on you, you could get home, at least with a trap on you, because you won't be able to take that off by yourself. Like, very, you know, like I've seen all the little tricks that people do, but they use the old traps to demonstrate it, not these new magnums, newer magnum types. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that because I thought it was a really good, that was a good demonstration actually of how it works. I'll show you again when I get out and set them for the final time, when I put them into the Beaver Blitzkrieg. When I do the Beaver Blitzkrieg, you'll see how I set them for the final time, and how that way you can keep your hands away from the jaws pretty much the entire time. You can put I got the other safety thing, I could put that on, set the trigger, then take that safety off, and then you take your other safeties off, and then away you go. All right, there we go.